What is it overall? How can we understand it? What's this thing they call wala and bara? Especially us young, you young, growing up in this country. What is this thing wala and bara? What is it? Well, how is it a main part of la ilaha illallah? This topic really doesn't need a single verse or a single hadith to prove it. Not a single verse or hadith. The proof for this topic is la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Wala and bara does not need a single letter of proof more than the word la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. The Quraishians who fought the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam understood wala and bara from the mere word of la ilaha illallah. They didn't need nothing else. They knew it from la ilaha illallah. This matter was so clear to everyone. In earlier generations, they didn't need to write about it and explain it and elucidate and argue back and forth. It was clear. Wala and bara was clear. It was not an issue needing an explanation or talk until those philosophers who gave their undeveloped minds precedent over the text of the Quran and the Hadith coming out, giving their input. That's when the explanation and the elucidations and what the ulama meant. They are the ancestors of those who gabble today in what they don't know, thinking they know it all. I don't know nothing about football. I even several times, wallahi, put an effort to learn football. I couldn't. I don't know the details of it. That's even though I grew up here. Subhanallah, Allah blocked my mind from it for some reason. Even though I tried, because my nephew, may Allah protect him, and safeguard him, he's a professional player. And I never could learn this game. I do not know what they're doing when they're playing. There is one thing I do know for sure about that sport. When you join a football team and you cheer for the opposite team, what happens? In Mexico, people get hurt for matters like that in soccer. Why? It's embedded, it's natural, it's fitrah. You don't need to be told this. You're part of the team, you're a team player. You owe a duty of loyalty and alliance to your team. It's common sense when you join a team that you're part of that team. You don't cheer for the opposite team. You don't ever cheer for the opposite team. You don't even wish in your heart that they win. You're deceiving your team, even if it's in your heart. You can't take the coach or captain of the opposite team and hail him with praises and love and loyalty. You just can't do that. Or tell the coach of the opposite team a weakness that you see in your own team. Whether you're joking, whether you're serious, whether you didn't mean it, you don't do that. You don't do that. Let me take it further. When your own team makes mistakes, and that happens a lot in sports, they get angry, missed passes, lost plays. The teammates scream at each other. They yell at each other. Sometimes it gets out of hand where they push and shove. Sometimes it gets fully out of hand where the teammates of one team fight. That happens. That happens. My question is, do you go to the rival team or the rival team's coach or captain and say, my team members didn't pass the ball at the proper time, and complain to them? Do you go to the opposite team's coach or the captain or the players and tell them, come here, help me fight my own teammates, and massacre them and commit genocide with them? The core structure of gangs, street bums and gangs, bums in the streets and gangs and criminals, the core structure of gangs is wala and bara to that gang. In religious institute, all religions, the core matter of it is wala and bara. Nations, the core matter of the structure of that nation is wala and bara to that nation. If you look at nations and countries, the worst crime in a nation, in a country, is treason against that country and against the government. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to the security of that nation to have people commit treason. Treason is wala and bara to that country. Now, pay attention. If wala and bara is essential to a mere soccer league, a little soccer league, or a football team, if it's fundamental to the progress, continuation, and success of any nation, why is it so difficult for Muslims today to have wala and bara to la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah? That's wala and bara. It's fitrah. It's common sense. It's common sense. Merely La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah says wala and bara. You don't need none of the proofs that I mentioned to you. You don't need a single verse on that. But Allah revealed them all in the hadith to emphasize the importance of this matter. Today the deluded munafiqeen want you to join the team of La ilaha illallah, but they want you to cheer, to support, to clap, to aid, to abet everyone and everything but the team of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah that you joined. This is an important topic because this topic is the identity of a Muslim. Let me repeat. Wala in bara is the identity of a Muslim. Wala in bara is the selfhood of a Muslim. Without this topic fully embedded in your hearts, especially in non-Muslim lands, the grandparents and great-grandparents of today are given birth to future non-Muslim grandkids and great-grandkids. Whoa, what? Let me repeat that to you. Let me repeat that to you. Listen closely. Without true belief and understanding of wala and bara for everyone, but more so for those in non-Muslim lands, for everyone, the grandparents and great-grandparents, us, we're going to have kids inshallah, and great-grandkids and the grandparents and great-grandparents of today are given birth to future non-Muslim grandkids and great-grandkids. What do you mean? What do you mean? Let me tell you what I mean over here. Let me tell you this example, you understand it. A family I know very well, and I could even name the names. In 1920 or so, two brothers came to this country from Jordan. One of them settled and one of them returned. One who returned, he didn't like it here or did it go well for him, he returned. The one of them stayed here. So now that one who stayed here, there's possibly 4 or 5 generations now, since it's the 1920s. The great-grandfather who returned to Jordan, his descendants overall are all Muslim. They all have the spirit of Islam. At the end of the day, you ask them, they'll tell you we're Muslim. Yes, some of them are astray, some of them are sinners, but inshallah they all have Tawheed and La ilaha illallah in their hearts, and inshallah one day they'll come back to the true teachings. The brother who remained in this country and died here, and most of his first generation children, I believe, are all dead now. There's now 4 to 5 generations from that man. They grew up in a city, and there's so many of them, that a city in the United States is named after them. Do you know from the descendants of that man who remained in this country from the 1920s, there's not a single one who says, I'm a Muslim? I'm not saying that they neglected their salah so they're not Muslim. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you ask them, what's your religion? He's either Christian or Catholic or Buddhist or Hindu or atheist. A lot of them are atheists. This is something I know firsthand with names and details. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide them back to Tawheed and Islam. We gotta ask why. We spoke many times that non-Muslims can never be compelled to say La ilaha illallah. It's impossible. La ikraha fi ddin. Even when Islam is ruling a nation and there's non-Muslim living under it, it's impossible that we force or coerce anyone into Islam. Impossible. Even when the rulers of that country are by the solid Sharia, the ideal Sharia, the ideal Khilafah. They even get protection from Muslims, the utmost protection, while they're on their false belief. Non-Muslims get treated under Muslim rule better than, wallahi, better than they treat us when we're under their rule. Non-Muslims get treated under Muslim rule better than their own people treat them when they're under their own people's rule. That's when there's the ideal Khilafah. But at the same time, and here's what I'm trying to get at, that treatment doesn't mean we approve or condone their false, tampered, made-up belief. We treat, for example, Ahl al-Dhimma, those who live under Muslim rule, And you know they're weak and vulnerable because they're living under Muslim rule. A lot of Muslims are the popular and the strong ones. They live under Muslim rules. At times, the Muslims got to protect them. But we teach our kids and we put in our hearts that their faith is false faith. We embed it in our hearts, in our minds, in our kids' minds, that that cross that they're wearing, if someone dies believing in it, they will be emblazoned in hell forever. You have to teach that. You have to know that. You have to solidly believe that. When you have Muslims that are taught that the faith have minor differences amongst them, that they downplay the difference in belief in shirk and tawheed. It's not a biggie. They say we're all going to heaven. Your religion, my religion, same God. We're all going to heaven, so nothing really matters. They say Jesus is the Son of God, Isa is the Son of God, we say He's the messenger of God. It really means the same thing. When you get down to it, it's really a technical linguistic difference. When you boil it down, where all the Abrahamic religions and all the Quran said it, everyone's going to heaven. It's in the Quran. And they falsify this and tamper. The deviants also say explicitly or implicitly, anyone who mentions hell or anyone who's going to hell, that someone's going to hell, that's a radical extremist. Hell, Jahannam these days, without wala and bara, has become to many like an abandoned dwelling that no one enters. It's just there to be there. No one's going to hell. It's as if Allah, ma'adh Allah, created it in vain. That's